in order to create something that is truly unique, you have to sort of go through the process that we went through to create each and every single piece from scratch, so that first of all it works together in terms of the construction, the basic construction, but then that there is an aesthetic coherence through, you know, the zipper puller to the handle to the exterior. And so this is an experience that needs to be same both on the inside as on the outside. And this is not achieved with off-the-shelf components. And you know what it's like to go through that process.
If we look at the center frame on the Ramverk Pro, the center frame was the foundation, and here on the aluminum luggage we built upon that, and we together with the team we thought about a new way to assemble the luggage and be repairable in like so that it's sustainable in a way. So we're still using aluminum, but we are having like rails where you can slide the screws, and so the whole luggage is assembled with screws, and that makes it repairable should there be a need. And to Vince's point, we went through every component has been customized. I don't think there's any component that is off the shelf. Everything has been designed, tested, revisited again and again. We even looked at furniture hinges to be able to open the luggage properly and smooth, to have like no hinges visible on the outside. So we have like this very fancy, probably very standard in the furniture world, but for luggage this is never seen, but a bit heavy. So we ended up having a cleaner version of the Ramverk Pro luggage hinges where the screws are not visible. This is a 3D printed, but as you can see on here, this is the finished result. There is no visible screws, and I think that's like should there be a need to change the screw, it is possible from the inside.
I think if we just jump to the edge frame, to me, looking back now, you know, when we went for durability as the main sort of USP and the main feature to focus on, we had to not only, you know, find a way how it would, you know, from a construction perspective, look and work, but also how it is to produce this.
Yeah.
And I think that level of commitment to figure out how to produce it is taking it one step further. That is, to me, quite unbelievable that we're here today, you know, looking at the final version.
Yeah, because basically we have a 3-plane edge frame, and like, I mean, look at that. Like, I think it's you who with the marker did this, so that we were trying to shave off weight by removing material, and we tried as well to have the same rail construction as the center frame, but because of the profile of the edge frame, it wasn't possible. So we ended up with another construction for the edge frame specifically, and using a different alloy even.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it's stiffer. Like the shell is a 60-63 alloy, but the frames are 50-52 alloy. So
slightly softer.
Yeah, softer.
So that it's possible to.
Because otherwise, I mean, you remember when we got those samples, we lost our brain. It's like completely distorted.
Yeah.
We had to like go back and forth a lot of times.
But what I find remarkable is that we first of all sort of like go all in on durability and finding a solution to make it.
Yeah. For the handle as well, even for the handle, we could have taken an off-the-shelf handle, but we went through design inspiration. I mean, this is the handle that Vincent designed for the Ramverk Pro, which is partly in plastic and partly in metal, but in the end, we did a fully, do you want to show the backside of this one? We did a fully aluminum handle housing, And this is like, I remember when we got the sample, I sent you a text message. I said, if there's one piece that I would want to have at home, it's this handle. It's like the nicest hand feel. Like even the button is in metal. Like the whole handle is extruded in one piece in aluminum. So this is just like fantastic.
But I think, you know, this as a component, it is the most sort of used interface, the one that you have to sort of trust throughout when you're traveling, when you're out and about. And so the fact that they've always been so wobbly and had a certain build quality, it's like we've gotten used to it.
Yeah, and like these ones, they don't move. Like you have to have 1 millimeter of spacing in the handle so that it can glide without the metal rubbing against the metal. So you have some spacing, but compared to the competition, there's no spacing.
Would you mind showing where? So there's the key, right? So
yeah,
that is
to repair.
To repair.
Yeah, that's even if the handle is broken for some reason. It shouldn't happen, but if it's broken, you can like open and pop here, and then here you have a screw where you are able to unscrew on both sides and replace just the handle to avoid having like unnecessary amount of spare parts. Like the cost of just the handle is smaller than the whole trolley, of course, and also it's a easier step in the process.
Can I pop it in?
Yeah. So special made tool for repair.
And I think that also is sort of consistent if you look at the product. The screws that you see are for you to operate. Like, would you ever want to change the handle? It is possible for you to change it. However, these screws are not really for you to even care about.
We only show what the user needs to interact with, which is the locks, the handles, the wheels, and that's it.
Yeah.
Even like on the current Ramverk Pro, the handle is made in a very nice, spongy, comfy material, and we even revisited the design with like a different hinge system here. So it's still customizable and repairable as well, should there be a need. Everything, or almost everything, is handmade or assembled by humans. So to show the level of professionalism at the factory, Vincent actually gifted me this frame gap tool, and then we made several other versions for the Alu luggage. This was the one that was used for the Ramverk Pro luggage originally.
So we created this tool from scratch, just to be able to measure gaps and to be able to...
As you can see, it has been used, it's been chipped up here and there. So we still have it and we still use it. But we use it to, as simply as trying to insert it, and you shouldn't be able to insert it at all if, in the best case, and that's the best case because it doesn't go in, and we have different grading here showing 1, 2 or 3 millimeter gap, and the whole luggage is within 1 millimeter gap assembly. Like even in the corners here, like it doesn't even go in, so there's not even not even half a millimeter. So yeah, I think this luggage is so tightly assembled and screwed together, so it's yeah. On the grooves as well, I think that's to create something different, and as well to preserve the Ramverk Pro luggage design language. We went through different gap depth. I think there was 0.5, 1 millimeter, 2 and 3 millimeter groove, both for these here, and as well for the side panels. So like every detail has been adjusted and tested.
I mean, the idea with these grooves as well was to visually also reference the lines of, say, the hugger, so the rib cage system, and create kind of like a contemporary visual interpretation of that. And also, when you have a clean product like this, that generally is associated with, say, rivets, and you have these bits and pieces that creates a certain detail level, we needed to create a surface separation from sort of like the primary surface and the secondary surface, that to create this visual band, because otherwise it also looks sort of empty and
blank. Yeah.
yeah, I mean it becomes also a bit too blank in a way that it looks like something is missing.
I remember just before approving the mold of the wheel housing, we realized there was some issue in the reinforcements, and so we had to revisit the sketches, the 3D sketches for the structure, so that the wheel housing doesn't bend inward. And then at the same time we added another feature where the wheel axle, instead of being riveted, we have a screw, so that the user, if they miss a wheel due to poorly poorly handled luggage, we can just send a wheel to the user, to the consumer, and then they are able to replace it themselves as easy as using a screwdriver. And it's a lot more efficient than having to replace the whole wheel housing, where you have to access from the inside and everything. If we look here on the inside of the inside of the luggage, this is a development sample. Sorry for the noise. Where we had 3D printed inside housing and outer housing, as well as the wheel cap, and that's to show that everything is custom for this luggage specifically. And that's how we ended up finding out that we needed to add some ribs, as we call it, in the wheel housing to make it more to make it stiffer. Yeah, handmade luggage is not very oiled up, making a bit of a cranky noise.
But even this meeting here with the wheel housing
Yeah.
and the edge frame, like there are actually four parts
We can see here.
within one place.
Here Vincent has adjusted the wheel housing so that it fits perfectly with the edge frame. So the edge frame end goes directly flush into the wheel housing as such. So there's no it's on his increase for reinforcement, some sort of a bumper.
Yeah. I think one of the other aspects of, if we look at sort of like DB signatures, the front webbing. This is the first time we create something that is attached here and here, because even on the Ramverk one, it goes all the way back down, right?
Yeah, it goes down and top. Yeah.
And it might look so simple, like now it looks so simple, but even with just like the engineering webbing that we have, like the engineered webbing that is actually woven into itself around these bar tacks, and the fact that the ends are completely hidden.
Yeah, this was maybe one of the small pieces where I remember it was so much back and forth on how did we even want to design it, and how was the factory able to actually assemble it, because the profile, we had to make sure that the profile of the top bar tack, as we call it, so the bottom is actually the same, just reversed. I remember the struggle of having like figuring out how to have the webbing being flushed inside so it doesn't create too much bulk. That was like maybe one of the smallest components that, like if you like look at proportionally how much time we spend on this for the visual impact is ridiculous.
But when you see it now, it's really, really tight, and it's impossible to actually figure out if you haven't deconstructed it. It's impossible to.
It's
figure
on the
out.
inside. It's flushed on the inside here, and so. Here we see the first version. They were 3D printed metal bar tack, but not in metal. And here as well, on this, here we have a front shell cutting of the size medium, where we were testing different thickness of webbing and different composition, whether it was going to be in polyamide or polyester. We ended up using polyester so it doesn't absorb humidity. because whenever you travel, you have fluctuation of humidity in the air and heats and everything. And in Oslo, it's usually dry weather, but if you go to Asia or the part of the world, it can be quite humid, and then suddenly wavings are being like super loose.
Yeah.
So that was also like here as well. I remember like having to confirm without having seen it. Like
And you don't really have this problem with products that are soft.
yeah.
Because they all
It
the
doesn't
complete
show,
product
yeah.
is shifting.
Yeah.
But in this case, when you combine both soft and hard, that's when you get the delta.
Yeah, that's having materials that really withstand the weather.
Do you remember I think it was day before Christmas, and we had to move the grooves
Oh yeah.
3 millimeters because the offset was off.
Yeah, visually it wasn't nice. I think actually on these ones we see it. On this proto we see it. This was the issue. This was the reason, and then we ended up, if we put this one like this, so here they are going too close to the center frame, and so we ended up moving it 2 or 3 millimeters off the center frame, and as well the spacing was adjusted. Yeah, that was a bit of a, I remember being upset at you because you were so pointy, like relentless, but in the end I think it was worth it.
I think I still owe you those beers that I promised. But
even here as well for the hinges, because we wanted to have the same line here, but because of the hinge poking out outside of the center frame, we had to as well adjust on these to have a similar spacing.
But if you look at it now, was it worth it?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would do it all over again. About those small details, remember the side panel, trying to remove it.
Yep.
But it's so many. And then we have the engraving. The beautiful thing with the aluminum luggage is we do not need aluminum top plates because you can engrave wherever you want. So the consumer can engrave here or here or here or anything. And we have engraved on the hinges. So it's we also have it on the back, very subtle DB branding here. Oops.
The branding is really in the center frame, if you think about it. Like that's really where the identity sits together with the front webbing.
Yeah, and then on the front we have our how to say it? I'll sign off for the Ramverk Pro luggage as well. A debossed DB branding. Yeah. Should we jump on the inside? For the interior, we have as well upgraded a bit the organization. You were like designing those pen holder. I don't have a pen with me right now, but I think this is a great thing for creatives because if you travel with an iPad or some sort of tablets and you have a pencil, then you have a place to store your pencil or anything, as well as this like soft fleece on the inside, which is fantastic because then you know that your tablet is going to be protected on the inside. Here we can't really see on the video, but it's like a nice brush fleece.
Yeah, I mean the interior really sort of is designed to meet you halfway and make you feel that you're taken care of. And I think details like that you can't see this.
No, you have
but
to.
you feel it, and when you pull out your iPad or whatever, you actually clean your screen at the same time. Right?
For sure.
It does stuff like it helps you on your journey, even though you're not.
It's the small details that it really. Put it here on the organization, which is very good as well for TSA. In case you put like a battery bank, then you don't really see it, but you don't like, how to say, it's great for privacy if you have anything that you don't want people to see, but you can see yourself that there's an item because you can see through slightly. So when you're going through security, it makes it very easy to think, oh, my charger or my battery bank or whatever is here, and then you can easily take it out. So it's,
and I think worth remembering is that we are the innovators of this opening in the first place.
Yeah.
That with these two buttons, you get access to your Mac and whatever you need, right? And this is also not just super fast, but it also hides all your stuff. And so there's a privacy aspect to it as well. And this is definitely something that we own and want to continue evolving.
Another last point about the construction that I just remembered. You might think that these are rivets, as it's standard to have on most luggage for the trolley. Just before production, we managed to find a screw boss that looks flat on the outside, but then it's actually screwed on the inside. So these are not rivets, these are also screws. So even the trolley, the bottom of the trolley, here and here, these are two screws going in through there. So then it's the only components that you might think, they are saying it's rivetless, but it's actually rivets. No, this is not rivets. These are screws as well. So on this mesh that we picked, it's relatively flat, but you still have some 3D texture. It's visible, but it's even more interesting when you are actually experiencing it. Same as the soft list here. You have some thicker yarn that makes it like, and that's the X structure that you see, and that gives something more technical feeling, and it also gives some transparency. So it's
translucency.
Translucency. It's a mesh that we have been using across some of the products, but we thought it was deserving a bit more attention, so we used it on the whole pocketing system here. On the inside as well, we have changed the construction so that it's, as we call it, it's a bathtub construction. So the whole divider and the bottom here, traditionally it's the bottom is fixated onto the shell of the luggage, but on this, if you have some incident, for example, your shampoo bottle is open, you could remove the divider and wash it and then replace and put it back again in the luggage, because this is a bathtub construction, so it goes up and then we connected it to the divider.
And if we think about repairability as well, something that is common as a common component to break is the zipper. Even though we have YKK zippers.
It's so sometimes in a rush, then you can have a broken zipper.
And in a lot of cases, you might actually just have like an open flap, or you might have to cut it off because this is not a repairable part. But in our case, all of the interior can be replaced, and therefore we eliminate that problem.
Even the tab here is custom.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It was already custom on the Ramverk Pro, but we designed this one.
Enough.
It wasn't custom enough. So even on this one, it's custom.
But I think this is also speaking to the idea of consistency, and when we talked about the intent with
the outside and the inside.
The outside on the inside, or the outside and the inside, that the grooves sort of follow through with the combination of the chamfer. So if you look at any component, such as, for instance, the frame here, or even the actual chamfer on the product, it has the same 45-degree chamfer everywhere. And so I think that is one of those things that people might not necessarily recognize, but you just feel that something is very coherent and it's well put together.
It's intentional. Everything is intentional.
Even this stitch here is 45 degrees.
It is.
Halvard, come closer. No, that's true. Even this stitch here is 45 degrees. To match, the edge of that or the edge of this.
We have anodized treatment on everything that's aluminium to protect it and to give these brush effects. We went through different material cuttings. I think this is one of them where we looked at different anodizing we can have finishing, and we ended up picking one that we applied, and then the edge frame as well. We had to have a different treatment because it's a different alloy, so it cannot be anodized in the same anodizing tank. So it's different anodizing, matching color, and that was important, and different brush as well.
Because the color matching, when you have two different alloys, right?
Yeah.
The color matching is not given because they are
I think
affected differently.
It's chemistry, so I don't have the knowledge to elaborate on that. All I know is that it's not easy.
But even the different methods of like this is extruded, whereas this is not.
Yeah.
Like even just that thing alone is creating a deviation.
The edge frame is stamped down,
Exactly.
so they have a mold and they press it down, and then the center frame is extruded and then bent, and then the side panels as well as the front panels they are also pressed down with a different type of mold. So it's and then they send it to anodizing. So a lot of steps that the end user doesn't necessarily see. But if you know, then you understand how many steps are being done for this luggage to come to life.
One thing that came to my mind when we were just talking here was this frame might actually look like it's kind of the same frame as we used on Ramverk Pro.
It's
right?
not.
But we changed everything on this.
Yeah, even on this one, made it wider.
Exactly. So it has a perfect width in terms of like alignment with the lock, and
by the millimeter even.
Yeah, and due to the fact that we added to more frames, the edge frames, we needed to make this more prominent visually and hierarchy in terms of like the way it stands out, and so that's why it's even higher.
Yeah, it's more built up.
Yeah.
But and then we did some weight saving by doing some extrusion. This is not the actual one, but this is one of the proto where we went through different extrusion to have less matter in some places to save weight. Hence an interesting profile. Yeah, no, it's everything has been custom.
Yeah.
Even though customization of the material wasn't necessarily the goal, with customizing everything.
And I've been thinking about that because I don't think it's necessary that you just have to make everything custom, but
it was natural to do it.
For our sort of a mission to create something durable like this, you simply have to do it.